Today is Wednesday, February 04, 2026. Before your day starts, say this prayer for God's help. Don't scroll. Yes, you. And if you're hearing this right now, it means God has divinely aligned you with this message for a reason. This is not just a random video or some feel-good clip on your feed. This is your moment of divine encounter. One of those quiet but powerful wake-up calls from heaven that touches your spirit before your feet even hit the floor this morning. You didn't land on this by accident. You might think, what are the odds I'd see something like this right now? But God doesn't work in odds. He works in order and purpose. You've been feeling the shift, haven't you? That tug on your heart, the heaviness in your chest, sleepless nights where your mind won't stop spinning with thoughts you haven't told anyone. There's been something stirring inside of you that you can't quite explain, a feeling that change is coming, something big, something divine, but you're not even sure how or when or if you'll be ready for it when it shows up. Well, listen to me. This message is that something. This is divine confirmation that God is moving in your life, even in the areas that feel silent. He sees the moments when you wake up feeling tired even after sleeping, when you smile at people but feel unseen, when you give your best and wonder if it's even enough. Oh, He sees you. God says, before your day begins, let me go before you. Let me prepare the places you're about to walk. Because yes, there are doors being opened that your name is already on. People you haven't met yet who are about to pour into your life in ways you didn't even know you needed. And that constant prayer you've been whispering to God, the one you've barely said out loud because it's so heavy, so close to your core, He's heard it. That job opportunity, that healing, that financial breakthrough, that soulmate, that peace, that open door. It's already in motion, under the surface in the spiritual realm. Your only job right now is not to let go of your faith while it's still hidden. You may have felt like you've been in a long waiting room, watching other people step into their seasons while you're stuck on pause. But listen to me. You are not forgotten. You are being prepared. God hasn't denied you. He's developing you. The waiting has been a womb, not a tomb. And something sacred is being birthed from this quiet season. I know it's been hard to keep going. I know some mornings it takes everything in you just to show up and function like everything's fine. But I need you to know, He's proud of you. You've stayed soft in a harsh world. You haven't let heartbreak make you bitter. You've kept praying when you didn't see results. You've kept trusting when you had every reason to give up. God is not just going to restore what you lost, but elevate you to a place where you say, if I had known this was coming, I wouldn't have cried so hard over that. And yes, this includes love. Someone out there has been praying for someone exactly like you, not your perfection, but your heart. And while you're getting aligned spiritually, emotionally, and mentally, so are they. There is a kingdom connection being written in heaven, and your obedience to become who you're designed to be is pulling your soulmate closer every day. This is not a fairy tale, it's a promise. And it's not just about romance, it's about purpose partners. People you will build with, create with, grow with, love with, and glorify God with. Relationships that heal instead of drain. Love that feels like peace, covering, not confusion. But listen, this divine union needs a whole you. That's why God is dealing with the inner parts of your soul right now. Your fears, your trust wounds, your vision, your habits, so you can receive what you've prayed for and keep it. And about those repeating numbers you've been seeing, 11, 11, 4, 44, 7, 17. The signs that keep finding you. Yes, those are more than coincidences. They are wake-up calls from the spiritual realm. They're nudges from your angels, reminders from God, echoes of your alignment. Those are not distractions, they are confirmations. That prayer you whispered, heaven heard it the first time. And your tears, they've watered the soil of blessings that are now ready to grow. Don't dismiss the signs just because you don't fully understand them. Thank God for loving you so personally that He sends little reminders you can't miss. Because today is not just about surviving another 24 hours. It's about walking into it knowing God's already gone ahead of you. That meeting, covered. That anxiety, replaced. That worry, washed. That pain, purpose. So right now, take a breath deep in, deep out, and let the presence of God wrap around you like a blanket. Let this be your prayer today. God, I don't want to move ahead of you. I surrender this day my goals, my fears, my expectations. Go before me. Light up my path. Block what's not for me. Bless what is. And bring me into alignment with the promises you've already written over my life. You have no idea how many people are about to be blessed because you didn't give up. Somebody's miracle is attached to your perseverance. Somebody's faith is being built by watching your journey. The way you rise today, it matters. So promise me this: start today with God. Don't go into it running on empty when heaven is offering you divine strength. Don't enter into this day numbing yourself with distractions when God is waiting to refill you with clarity, power, and peace. You are chosen, you are called, and you are being carried. Believe that. Speak that live as if it's true, because it is. Don't scroll past this and forget it 10 minutes from now. Come back to it, meditate on it, share it with someone who needs it. And when you begin your day today, don't say good morning to the world before you say, good morning, Holy Spirit. Because when you start with God, everything shifts. Stop right here. Before you swipe, before your mind talks you out of listening, take a breath, because if your heart keeps pulling you toward this message, it's not your imagination, it's resonance, it's truth recognizing truth. It's your spirit trying to catch up with the timing of heaven. This is one of those rare moments where what's happening in the spiritual realm is breaking into your physical reality to expose what you cannot see, but have deeply felt coming. You've been living in between chapters, haven't you? That weird emotional space where one season is clearly ending, but the next hasn't fully begun. You can't quite go back to who you were, but you don't know what you're becoming either. You're in the divine in-between, the hallway of transformation. And that space, it's sacred. It's where God reshapes world changers, not for comfort, but for calling. That's why it's been silent. That's why people you were once close to feel distant now. That's why your spirit keeps waking up before your body even wants to move. Something deeper is forming. You're not being punished. You're being pulled into a higher version of yourself. This is not about who you used to be. This is about who you were always meant to become. God didn't forget you. He has been hiding you. You weren't overlooked. He was protecting your purpose from what you weren't ready to carry yet. And the reason things haven't been working the way they used to is because old patterns won't unlock new appointments. You were built for something more, and you can feel it now, can't you? That pressure in your chest isn't anxiety, it's contraction. Your spirit is expanding to make room for what's been prophetically spoken over your life. You are about to birth destiny. And yes, it hurts. Transformation always does. When a caterpillar enters the cocoon, it literally dissolves before it reforms. Maybe that's how you felt, like parts of you have been falling apart, dreams being pulled down, emotions you kept buried rising up without warning. But listen, child of God, nothing is falling apart. It's all being rearranged. You're entering your divine alignment era, and what's coming cannot be contained in who you used to be. The people who left weren't rejecting you, they were releasing you. The closed doors weren't detours, they were deliverance. What you thought was a delay was really divine development. God is surgically removing counterfeits and distractions so He can make room for holy connection, divine resources, and supernatural acceleration. And yes, this includes your soulmate, the person He's tailor-making not just for your comfort but for your calling. You weren't created to be in lukewarm love or half-built relationships. That's why nothing unaligned with your spirit can stay. Emotional breadcrumbs won't satisfy someone who's being called to a kingdom feast, and God is preparing a table for you in the presence of every season that tried to break you. He says you are not hard to love, you are just hard to manipulate. And that's why I've set you apart. There is a person whose soul is already starting to awaken to your spirit even before you meet. Someone who will see your heart and not just your surface. Someone who will speak your name in prayer before they've even spoken it in person. This is alignment love, rooted in faith, covered by grace and destined by design. But right now, this is about you getting ready. Your healing is part of the supernatural timeline. You're not late, you're right on schedule. The inner work you're doing, the boundaries you're setting, the courage it takes to say, "This no longer serves me," the prayers you whisper through tears, the scriptures you opened when you didn't feel like reading, God saw all of it. Even when nobody clapped, even when you felt completely alone. And He wants you to know you're about to be rewarded publicly for what you endured privately. Mark this is the season humility meets harvest, meekness meets manifestation, silence meets sound. Everything that was once unseen in you, the potential, the beauty, the brilliance, is about to be exposed through divine favor. But be careful now. Don't rush this. The enemy loves to interfere right when you're closest to your breakthrough. He knows if he can confuse you, distract you, or pressure you into lowering your standards, he can get you to settle for something you were never meant to hold. That's why today is not just another day. It's training. It's the preparation of a prophet. You are literally being raised by heaven to become the answer to someone else's prayer. And not everyone can walk with a prophet. Not everyone can handle the weight of your spirit. Don't shrink just because your presence makes others uncomfortable. The anointing will always feel different. So walk humbly, but don't walk small. You were born with heaven's fingerprint on your soul. And yes, I hear you asking, but when? When does it happen? When do I see the breakthrough? When do I feel peace? When do the tears stop? When will the pain make sense? And God says, when you stop looking for timelines and start trusting my timing, His timing is precise. He's not procrastinating, He's protecting. He knows how to wrap a gift better than anyone. Your blessing is being wrapped in obedience, promotion, healing, strength, maturity. Because when it comes, it will be too big for you to carry in brokenness. That's why today your only assignment is surrender. Complete, radical, fearless surrender. Before you walk into work, before you check social media, before you text that person back, say this out loud. God, I trust you more than I trust my emotions. Order my steps. Open what's from you. Close what's not. Lead me. Lord, this day is yours. That kind of surrender will attract angels. That kind of faith shifts rooms before you say a word. You won't have to force what flows when God fuels it. You won't miss what leaves when God removes it. You won't stumble around in confusion when the Spirit is actually guiding everything. So yes, you may feel raw today, tender, even a little scared. But that's how new life feels when it first starts to move. So breathe deeply, sit with this message, let your soul stretch. You are in alignment. You are walking into favor. You are being positioned for prophetic fulfillment, and everything the enemy stole, time, peace, energy, love, is being restored completely. Don't doubt this moment. Don't swipe away and move on like this was anything less than an encounter. You are not broken. You are breaking through. Before you do anything else, pause, because your spirit has something to say, and God is using this moment to get your attention. You didn't scroll here accidentally. You didn't just land on this video because it happened to autoplay. You were drawn here, heart first. That ache you've been feeling, that quiet discomfort, that wondering if there's more to life than what you're seeing right now. Those are spiritual contractions. Your calling is trying to wake you up. And I know, you've been tired, disappointed, emotionally exhausted in ways you can't explain out loud. You've looked strong on the outside, but inside, you've been waiting for someone, anyone, to just stop and say, "Hey, I see you. I know it's been hard, but you're doing better than you think." Well, this is that moment, because this is not just content, it's a divine encounter. This is spiritual CPR to your soul. God said, remind them who they are before they settle for anything less. So let me tell you something you may have forgotten in the storm. You're called. You're chosen. You're set apart. You carry power in your prayers, authority in your voice, legacy in your hands, and the enemy has known it since you were a child. That's why he's been after your peace, your mind, your confidence, your relationships, because he saw what you didn't yet. He saw that when you fully come into alignment with God, generational chains will break. He saw that your yes to healing would echo across your family tree like thunder. He saw that your I surrender would shift not only your path, but your children's and your children's children. And somewhere inside you felt this, haven't you? You've known since you were young that you were different. You couldn't settle, even when you tried. You couldn't lie to yourself about the way certain environments drained you. You've always noticed the little signs, felt things others missed, hurt deeper, loved harder, dreamed bigger. And for a while you even tried to shut it down, dim your light, numb your gifts, fit in. But God would not let you disappear, because you are not here to fit in, you are here to rise. You are here to speak what others won't say, to love in spaces others have walked away from, to rebuild what trauma tried to destroy. You are a cycle breaker, a barrier destroyer, a generational curse crusher. And spiritually, that makes you dangerous to darkness. This is why your life has felt heavier than most. It's not because you're weak, it's because you're anointed. The pressure you felt isn't punishment, it's preparation. The weight isn't there to break you, it's proof that what you're carrying requires strength. And I get it. All of this sounds great until you wake up in another repeating day, unsure if any of what you're hearing is ever really going to happen for you. You say, God, I believe for them, but what about me? And that's honest grief. But I want you to hear this clearly. You're not late to your purpose. You're right on God's schedule. Delay does not mean denial. Sometimes it means divine protection. You don't even know what God saved you from while you were complaining about the detour. That person who ghosted you. That job that rejected you. That opportunity that slipped through your fingers. That was not rejection, it was redirection. Why settle for crumbs when God is preparing a table? Why fight for things that don't align with your higher calling? God is not going to let you marry confusion. He's not going to let you permanently link with people or systems that would bury your identity to benefit their dysfunction. Yes, that one hit deep, because you weren't created to be tolerated, used, silenced, or overlooked. You were created to lead, to heal, to set things on fire spiritually, to awaken sleeping faith wherever your feet walk. You are the answer to somebody's prayer, and your healing. It's permission for someone else to believe healing is possible. Your restoration, it's evidence that God still breathes life into broken things. So don't give up now. Don't stop because you're tired. Don't step out of the fire before the gold in you has been refined. You're not being destroyed. You're being distilled. You're being purified from fear, pride, perfectionism, people-pleasing, and performance so that the real you can emerge, bold, healed, whole, and on fire. And I know, sometimes it feels like nothing is changing fast enough, like you're doing all the spiritual work and getting none of the reward. But transformation is a root process before it's a visible one. God is building your character before your platform, your stamina before your blessing. Because if you got it too soon, you'd lose it trying to keep everyone else happy. That's why He's slowing you down, not to frustrate you, but to prepare you to handle the weight of the glory that's coming. Yes, glory, because there is glory coming. There is alignment. There is God-ordained love. There is internal joy that can't be shaken. There is a job and a breakthrough and a door with your name on it that no demon, distraction, delay, or hater can stop. And when it shows up, you'll be ready. You'll recognize it. You'll know how to keep it because you didn't shortcut the process. You walked through it with God. And today, it's not just about feeling good for a few seconds watching a spiritual video online. It's about letting this message shake you awake. There is no revival in the world without a revival in your own heart first. So don't just be inspired, be activated, be convicted, be shifted. Today is the day you start speaking differently, thinking differently, expecting differently. Pay attention to what your spirit resonates with and don't second guess your intuition. That's the Holy Spirit. Talk to God like He's your best friend, because He truly is. Stop putting yourself at the bottom of your own priority list. Stop dating potential and ignoring patterns. Stop watering dead plants and calling it patience. The future version of you, the you that's walking fully in purpose, is begging you not to settle here. You've come too far. You've healed too much. You've walked through fire and you still pray. Oh, you are more powerful than you know. And this is your warning and your word. Do not go back to what God has already healed you from. You're not who you used to be. This morning is not just a morning. It's a personal resurrection. It's God breathing fresh wind into dry places. It's proof that something is awakening in you that hell can't stop and heaven can't wait to reveal. The only question is, are you ready to stop living like you're waiting and finally live like you're chosen? Stop scrolling. Don't let this moment pass you by like just another post in your feed. This is holy ground. This is a conversation between you and the Father you've been quietly crying out to. You may not realize it, but your spirit begged to hear this word today. Because this right here, this is the reminder you didn't know your soul was waiting for. You are not behind. You are being built quietly, sacredly, divinely. There's nothing wrong with you just because you aren't where you thought you'd be by now. Oh no, God says, you're exactly where I need you. Not one step late, not one breath off. You don't measure spiritual progress by milestones others can see. You measure it by the internal shifts, by the way you no longer react to things that used to destroy you, by how quicker you forgive, by how softer yet stronger your heart has become. You measure it by how you're healing bloodlines through your decisions, how you're breaking emotional cycles your parents never got free from. And I feel this so deeply for someone. You're not lazy, you're not lost, you're in the quiet cocoon of divine transformation. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it feels like you're being overlooked. But Jesus did his greatest miracles away from the crowds. And right now, what God is cultivating in you, your peace, your intuition, your wisdom, your discernment, is the very thing that will carry the weight of the promises you've been praying for. You think the delay is punishment, but it's protection. Your spirit has been asking for things your character wasn't fully ready to carry yet. But the process was never meant to embarrass you. It was designed to equip you. So trust what you can't yet see. Trust that God has not just heard your cries, He's been bottling your tears. You've been fighting battles that no one ever thanked you for, haven't you? Silent wars within your mind, generational burdens your childhood was never strong enough to carry. Some of you have been parenting yourself since you were 7. You've been protecting people who didn't protect you. You've kept smiling through abandonment, rejection, shame, silence. And still you wonder, God, do you see me? Yes, child, He sees you. And He wants you to hear this. You are so much stronger than you know, and heaven has been proud of you long before evidence showed up in your life. Don't measure your worth by what humans have failed to give you. Their inability to see your value isn't your identity, it's their limitation. God calls you beloved. He calls you entrusted, chosen, set apart. He has seen every time you rose when you could have stayed down. Every time you chose growth when numbness seemed easier. Every time you didn't become bitter even when life gave you every reason to be. And you've been asking, when is it my turn? When do I walk into my season? But you're already in it, it just doesn't look like how you imagined. It never does when God's leading it. It starts as alignment, small shifts, spiritual upgrades, heart surgery unseen by the world. It looks like letting go of toxic loyalty. It looks like choosing peace over performance. It looks like deleting contacts that kept you connected to confusion. It looks like turning your phone off to hear God whisper. See, heaven doesn't shout, it whispers. And it speaks loudest in the quiet, in those morning moments when the light hasn't hit the room, but your soul still reaches for hope. You've been obeying without an audience, trusting without validation, moving without clarity, and that's faith. That's what gets rewarded. That's what causes heaven to lean in. Because there's something about a child who will keep walking even when the road isn't lit. Something about a believer who still says yes with a trembling voice. And listen, God will always give vision before validation. He'll give revelation before reward. He'll test if you can treasure the process before the promise materializes. So if it feels like you're still waiting, keep trusting. He's working through every delay, every no, every door that didn't open, every plan that fell apart for your good. Because hear me, what you thought was rejection was actually redirection to resurrection. Something had to die for something divine to live. You had to outgrow that version of yourself. You had to lose that friendship. You had to walk through loneliness so you de-recognize presence, not just people. And yes, this includes love, that deep yearning in your soul for partnership. That's not fantasy, that's divine wiring. You weren't created to walk this calling alone. And God is already preparing someone whose purpose will not compete with yours, but complete the mission alongside you. No more mismatched partnerships masked as divine connections. No more confusing attention with affection. Heaven is aligning someone who will honor the weight of your heart, who will see your value when you're silent, who will not shrink or be intimidated by your spirit, but be drawn deeper to God because of it. That's why the delay has felt so intense, because God refuses to let you settle for watered-down love while He's designing kingdom alignment. And listen, when that connection shows up, it won't feel like adrenaline, it'll feel like peace. It won't spark anxiety, it'll still your soul. But until then, let this be enough. Let your intimacy with God be your main pursuit. Let this morning be your turning point, not because something magically changes today, but because you do. You stop seeing pain as punishment and start seeing it as prophetic positioning. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What now, God?" You stop believing the lie that your best days are behind you because heaven says they're still ahead, and being rewritten better than you imagined. You are not stuck. You are saturated in unseen favor. And in this exact moment, the angels assigned to your purpose are moving with urgency. Doors are cracking open. People are being stirred to think about you. Rooms you've never stepped in are talking about your name with respect. The resources you thought were impossible are being allocated. Because you stood in faith, because you kept the posture of surrender. So don't leave this video the same. Don't just listen, lean in. Lift your heart with me right now. God, I surrender control. I'm not going to chase what you didn't send or settle for what you didn't speak. I trust your no's as much as I trust your yeses. I invite you to order every moment of my day. Heal what I can't express. Restore what I thought was too broken. Prepare me for what's mine, and help me love you more than I love my plan. Say that again. Say it until the atmosphere in your room shifts. Say it until your fear bows down to your faith. Say it until heaven hears your yes echo into your future. Today is holy. This moment is holy. And so are you. Don't scroll. You've come too far through too much, cried too long, fought too hard to miss what God is about to speak to you right now. Just breathe for a second. This isn't your usual kind of message. This is holy ground. A moment marked in the Spirit, designed just for you. I know your heart has been heavy, full of questions that have no words, and pain that no one seems to see, but heaven sees it all. And today, you're not just hearing encouragement, you're stepping into confirmation. That turmoil you've been carrying, it wasn't random. That cycle you've been quietly battling behind the smiles, that wasn't weakness. That was warfare, and you've been in the middle of a sacred upgrade. One so deep that your soul outgrew the spaces, the people, the compromises of who you used to be. That's why you felt so uncomfortable. That's why old coping mechanisms don't work anymore. That's why conversations that used to inspire you now exhaust you. It's not that you're broken, it's that you're becoming the version of you that doesn't second guess your worth. Becoming the version of you that knows when to rest without guilt and when to walk away without shame. Becoming the version of you that is no longer accessible to what drains you and no longer afraid to say no to what dishonors your soul. But listen, this evolution has been painful. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because shedding survival mode is never easy when it's all you've ever known. It's been years of holding it together for everyone else. Years of putting yourself last. Years of caring more than people could ever return. And now God is saying, enough. Your season of overflow begins where you stop bleeding for people who won't even cover you. This is your invitation into divine detachment, where nothing that's not anchored in my voice has permission to follow you into your next chapter. And you know what's coming: peace like you've never felt, provision that makes no logical sense, alignment with people who pour, who pray, who protect and don't just take. Your next chapter is only about mutual energy, mutual love, mutual respect, mutual presence. You've given too much of yourself to be surrounded by people blind to your light. So now I'm removing what you didn't have the strength to let go of. Consider this your release. And yes, I know it's hard. I know it feels confusing. Your heart wants to fix it, forgive it, figure it out. But God says, stop trying to resuscitate what I've called you to release. Sometimes closure doesn't come with answers. Sometimes it comes with obedience. And if you're feeling this right now in your chest, if your hands are shaky or your eyes are welling up, that's not emotion, it's revelation. That's your spirit aligning. That's your old self cracking. That's God saying you can exhale now. It's handled. And I feel this so deeply over someone. Your name is being whispered in rooms your feet haven't even entered yet. Your character has reached places that your hands have not touched. Leaders and gatekeepers are being moved by angels on assignment to open doors for you. Not because you networked, not because you begged, but because you stayed faithful when no one saw. You stayed kind when bitterness begged you to change. You stayed tender when trauma tried to turn you cold. And now, God says, watch me compensate for every year of private pain with public honor. Eye has not seen, ear has not heard. You're not just walking into blessing, you're stepping into a spiritual spotlight where your life begins to speak more loudly than your words ever could. This next move, it's pure alignment, contracts, collaborations, covenants, and for some of you, finally, the right love, the real love. A relationship that feels like home and heaven at the same time. A person who doesn't just understand you, they worship alongside you. They pray peace over your anxious days and stand in the gap when your strength is gone. God is not just sending love, He is crafting a companionship that reflects His own presence. That's why it's taken so long. That's why He's been cleansing your circle, your wounds, your patterns. He had to prepare the soil for forever. So no, you're not hard to love. You're hard to manipulate, and that's a good thing. You're not too much. People have just tried to measure you by broken standards. You're not behind. You're right on prophetic schedule. The wilderness you walked through, it wasn't wasted, it was referenced by heaven in your destiny blueprint. The tears, bottled, the prayers, remembered. Every silent yes, every heartache held back just to maintain peace. Every time you let people go whom you loved deeply because you had to choose obedience over comfort. Not 1 ounce of it was missed. And I feel this so strongly. God is reintroducing you. Not as who you were when they left, but as who He created you to be before life tried to dim your fire. Some of you have been burning quietly in the background for years, and now God is saying, come forward. This is your Lazarus moment. This is resurrection. People wrote you off. You wrote yourself off at times, but heaven never did. And now it's your time. You're rising not in ego, not in flesh, but in favor, in clarity, in purpose, in supernatural confidence. A peace that's not performative, a joy that you don't have to borrow from artificial highs. This is the moment where it all begins to make sense. The waiting, the heartbreak, the empty prayers that felt like they disappeared into space. They didn't. They were time-released miracles, and now the Spirit of God is activating their arrival. Just breathe. You're not broken, you're blooming. You're not empty, you're being expanded. And even now, as you listen to this with open ears and a stretching soul, the atmosphere around you is shifting. Angels are moving. Clarity is coming. Doors are creaking open. Healing is rushing in. So open your hands, drop the pressure, and say this with your whole heart. God, I surrender. I don't want what's not from you. I welcome alignment. I welcome your pace over my pressure. I release my timeline and embrace your timing. I trust that I have not missed anything meant for me. I choose peace today. I choose power. I choose purpose. I choose you. And if that made your heart tremble or your eyes tear up, don't ignore it, because that is not coincidence. That's home. That's heaven. That's your confirmation it's all coming together. This was step 5, completion, the final reminder. And now your destiny has no choice but to respond. Everything is about to change, Amen.